In every industry, there is always one, the company that makes the quantum leaps, innovating, not duplicating, leading, not following. And in the world of Zimbabwean immigration law, that company is Njomani Law. Are you worried about every knock on the door? Are you worried that you will be sent back to Zimbabwe? Then speak to Njomani Law. They are Zimbabwean immigration law specialists. Call the number on the screen to book your appointment today. In every industry, there is always one, the company that makes the quantum leaps, innovating, not duplicating, leading, not following. And in the world of Zimbabwean immigration law, that company is Njomani Law. Are you worried about every knock on the door? Are you worried that you will be sent back to Zimbabwe? Then speak to Njomani Law. They are Zimbabwean immigration law specialists. Call the number on the screen to book your appointment today.
This is ZIMBO Live TV. I'm your host today, Melanie Nau. Today we are joined by a special guest who specializes in immigration matters. I will let him introduce himself.
Thank you very much. My name is Welcome Max Bhebhe of Njomani Law.
Welcome, Mr. Bhebhe, to our ZIMBO Live studios. Can you briefly tell us about Njomani Law? What really is Njomani Law? What do you do?
Njomani Law is a specialist firm that deals with immigration law and refugee law. We are based in Luton, which is just about 30 miles north of London in Bedfordshire. And we are authorized by the Office of the Immigration Services Commissioner. They call it the OISC. It's important that people know that you are allowed to practice and give advice and representation.
Okay. So yeah, you are based in Luton, but are there any other ways how people can, get to you? How do we find you? Are there any other places we could find you?
Well, the main places you can find us, there is of course the media. In the website, if you just Google, even just my name in particular is the lead, the principal, Mr. Bhebhe. But if you just put in Njomani Law, you'll find our name and contact in there, which I believe will also be shown at the end of this, the footage of this program. Now, people also find us from the evidence that I have through people who have used our services and recommend other people because they are satisfied, they were happy with the service we provided. And this is sometimes irrespective of the outcome. There is many whose outcomes were, of course, successful, but there are many who, for obvious reasons to them, their cases didn't go through, but they appreciate the effort and the quality of service we provided them. And therefore they go on to recommend other people to get in touch.
What do you look for in a case, Mr. Bhebhe? Can you just explain how you evaluate an immigration case?
The first thing is the people who have got a problem. Look for genuine people who have got genuine problems and genuine issues, which then we can help to solve or help them solve by applying the relevant rules and laws of the UK Immigration Services. That's mostly what we look for.
And have you got any examples of case reports that you've handled? Well, I'm sure you've got so many case reports, but are there any particular cases that you've dealt with and the solutions to these cases?
Oh, there are many. There are many cases. We've had cases of different people who either they were they're in the country here, they came into the country fleeing persecution from their country, and therefore they've been recommended to us, or they've looked through the internet and found our contact. And we got cases of an individual who came in, they're claiming asylum, and then under various circumstances. Sometimes they come voluntarily, but sometimes they come because they've come into contact with the authorities who then want to remove them. And then they raise their case to say, no, they cannot go back because they're afraid. So when they get in touch with us, either through recommendations or they found out through the media, we then go and contact them, or we call them for a consultation. In the consultation, we have to find all the information about their background and their situation and why they fear. And then we help them to prepare a case to present to the Home Office, who are then the first decision makers. It's very important that we find out every information so that we also help them to collect the evidence that's required to support what case they are bringing in. So we've had people from various countries, from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Uganda, from Tanzania, from Pakistan, India, a lot of places in the world. So in one case, they came, we prepared their case, helped them to gather the evidence from what they're saying, then point to the evidence that is useful for their cases. They went in, and a number of cases, that particular case, they were granted on first interview, after the first interview with the Home Office. In a number of cases, as usually it happens, they may be refused. But because we did a very, very thorough preparation, then we're able then to, they always have the right to appeal to the tribunal courts. So we again help them to prepare their case for the, to present to the court. And then again, a well-prepared appeal before the judge. In this case, in the other case, it was successful. But sometimes the case may have problems in that they can't believe them. So in which case then, if we think and believe from a legal point of view that the judge made a mistake or the tribunal made a mistake in their interpretation or applying of the law, then we have got another opportunity to take the case further to the higher tribunal, or eventually the case can be taken to even higher courts.
So there are so many challenges.
My name is Douglas Katerere. I came to UK in 2002, and by 2006 I think I'd given up all hope of staying in UK and was thinking of going back to Zimbabwe until I met Mr. Bhebhe of Njomani Law. He introduced me to his firm and they took up my case. First I had a little bit of some hesitation, as I thought it was just a question of sheer waste of time. But the way they handled my case, it was professional, on a friendly basis. Is one of those people whereby when you're dealing with them, it's on a friendly basis, on a professional basis. You feel free, you feel comfortable, and well, everything about the firm, as far as I can tell, I've got no regrets. They handled my case, and as I speak now, I'm now one of the happiest guys in UK. They won my case on my behalf, and I'm so happy, and I owe them all my thanks. I've got no hesitation at the moment to introduce or to refer anybody to Njomani Law. Yes, they know what they do. They're professional guys. And as we know, immigration and asylum is quite a complicated subject if you're not vested in in the immigration law. So you really need somebody who can assist you and of course no hesitation in referring anybody to Njomani law.
Yeah. And of course, that's one example only in the asylum, but we've got many cases for straightforward immigration cases of visas and applying for leave to remain in this country, various stages, basic leave, extending leave, applying for settlement for those who qualify, and then proving that they qualify. And even those after they qualify, they've settled here, they want to apply to become citizens. Then again, we have to help them so that they can prove their case that they meet the rules to become citizens of this country. And then we've got cases like that. Families, actually some of our clients, we get some we have taken from being a student, to being a refugee, to being a person settled here, to being a citizen. And we've taken them through. And then there are, of course, situations where the same clients, we begin then to help them reunite with their families they left back home. So there are many examples of cases that are ongoing in the past.
Okay, and with the asylum process, can you just briefly explain the process? You know, obviously every case differs with
Yes.
with the time it takes.
Yes.
But can you just briefly explain what happens? For example, if a case is refused first time, what's the process thereafter?
That's right. In most cases, most asylum cases have got a right of appeal, except where the Home Office has determined, having looked at the case, that there's no merit at all, what they call manifestly unfounded. Then in that case, they block the right to appeal. But that's in a very few cases, where people are coming from countries which are considered to be very safe, or where a person, without advice, they've based their application or their appeal on reasons that are not within the international agreed categories. So let's take the straightforward, or not straightforward, most of the cases.
Yes.
They've got refused with the right of appeal. We've got to get them, get all the facts, look at the reasons why, and then put an appeal, notice to appeal within 10 days. It's very strict time scales. Then we put that with the grounds why we think the Home Office decision is wrong. And then with that decision, then they will be given dates of hearing. There's usually, not in all cases, in most cases for asylum, there will be a case management hearing. That is to look at the case, to make sure that it fits the law, make sure that everybody is ready, all the witnesses and evidence, that each part, the Home Office and our clients, do they need more time to get more investigation? There may be medical evidence required, and then it can be discussed, and more time can be granted or not. And then it goes on then to the full hearing, which usually will take place within the next 2 or 3 months. It used to take longer, but now it seems to take not a long time at all. Very, 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 expedited very quickly. And then we come to the hearing. But before the hearing, again, competently, we prepare our evidence, including evidence that may not have been produced or available to the Home Office. But now, of course, there are exceptions. That happens for asylum cases. You can bring all the evidence between. There are certain limits for other types of appeals where they would not take evidence that was not presented to the decision maker. But that's a different case. But in most cases, we bring the evidence, and then we go and they represent them in court, in the tribunal court.
So what nationality are the cases you do with?
Jomani law, we deal with all nationalities. But in practice, it tends to be people who come from countries that do not have an automatic right of entry or automatic right to remain here in the UK, like those people from the European countries which are part of the economic community, like, you know, France and Germany. So that tends to be people from Africa and Asia. That's the majority. But also we've had people from America, because people from America don't have an automatic right to stay in the UK. Vice versa. So really we deal, and people from South America, we've had people from South America as well, and the West Indies. Many people from the West Indies, Central America. So it's really very much everyone, but of course most people will come from those, mostly Africa and Asia.
Okay. Lastly, Mr. Bhebhe, I'm sure we've got so many, we've got some people out there who, you know, are scared, you know, to come up with their cases. They have been in this country obviously so many years, but they just, you know, don't have the urge to come forward to any solicitor, you know, to produce their case. What can you say to these people who are in fear? You know, is there anything that you can tell them? And I'm sure you've dealt with cases of people who've been refused and just stayed at home, or people who are just scared. What can you say to these people?
What you're saying actually touches on a very live issue. Indeed, there are many people, even only just this morning, had a call on behalf of someone who has not been able to do anything about their case since about 2004, and they are really afraid and wondering what can be done. Of course, generally is to say, yes, we understand their fears. Their fears are real to them.
Yes.
But there is an assurance that if they approach a firm of representatives or lawyers like ourselves, like in Jomani law, we will listen to them. And then we'll take some of the burden by giving them proper advice, how they can re-engage with the authorities through our representations. And when we represent them before the authorities, then a lot of the problems will become less. And then the challenges will meet, because like in this case, by asking a few questions, there were issues which they were not aware that actually their case is a case that can be presented to the Home Office and probably has got a high chances of success. They've been here, and over that period, they've had relationships, they've got a child even born in here, a child who is British. All those things are factors which will actually make a case that is credible and there's got a chance of succeeding. So the thing is, get in touch with advice, legal advice. You can go, of course, to the Citizen Advice Bureau if you don't know anyone who can then lead you, recommend those local solicitors or specialist advisors like ourselves, or call us on Jomani, 07515 357 130. Look up, of course I'm sure the number might appearing, you know, at the end of this program, or look us up, you know, in the internet, and give us a call. We will help.
Well, you've heard it from Mr. Bhebhe. If you've got any matters in regards to immigration, just contact them on the number showing on the screen. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhebhe, for joining us today for this program.
Thank you very much indeed, and good luck to ZIMBO Live TV.
Thank you. This is ZIMBO Live TV. I'm your host, Melanie Nowell. Thank you for joining us.
In every industry, there is always one, the company that makes the quantum leaps. Innovating, not duplicating. Leading, not following. And in the world of Zimbabwean immigration law, that company is Njomani Law. Are you worried about every knock on the door? Are you worried that you will be sent back to Zimbabwe? Then speak to Njomani Law. They are Zimbabwean immigration law specialists. Call the number on the screen to book your appointment today. In every industry, there is always one, the company that makes the quantum leaps, innovating, not duplicating, leading, not following. And in the world of Zimbabwean immigration law, that company is Njomani Law. Are you worried about every knock on the door? Are you worried that you will be sent back to Zimbabwe? Then speak to Njomani Law. They are Zimbabwean immigration law specialists. Call the number on the screen to book your appointment today.